Oh, well, hi there. Fancy seeing you here. Let me set you up right here in a nice little nook. Okay. Oh, well, the sun is being weird, so I'll get right up and personal with you. All right, so hi guys. I hope you're excited because I am, because today is... what do I even want to call these videos? I don't know. But I have a lot of very popular series that I've never read before, and I wanted to document my journey of going on these journeys. Wait, I wanted to document my journey of going and reading these books, and I wanted to start off with Shatter Me. So I hope you guys are excited because I'm going to be reading the first 3 books in this series. If you include the novellas, it's the first 5 books, because I've heard that the author was only planning on making it a trilogy plus the novellas, but then like she added the other ones on. So I wanted to make a video where I read the original trilogy. I'm very excited. I hope you are too, and I hope this lighting is fine. It's not ideal, but I hope you can bear with me. The lighting in my room is actually horrendous. All of my lights are on. This is what it looks like when all my lights are on. So yeah, that's great. But I'm gonna start on Shatter Me. I'm very excited. I know next to nothing about this. Next to nothing. I know there's a guy named Warner because no one will shut up about him. And it's like dystopian. I don't even know anything about the main character. Everyone always just talks about Warner. So like, I don't know if he's the love interest or like one of the just favorite book boyfriends, or like, you know what I mean? Like in the Percy Jackson series, Leo was like very popular. Like everyone had a crush on Leo, but like he didn't even like date anyone until the very end. So like, is that what it is, or is he like the main love interest? I don't know. Yes, I'm very excited. That is all I know about this, which makes me very excited because I do not want to know anything. I don't want to know anything. No one tell me anything, please. I want to go in blind. So yeah, this is the first in the series where I just read super popular books because I really need to play catch up because I did not read for the longest time. I hope you will enjoy the journey of me diving into the Shatter Me universe. Currently, this is the only book I have. I placed a hold at the library for the Unite Me, which is like the combination of the novellas, because I don't really want to buy the novellas. I would be okay with buying I don't know any of the names because they're all the same, but you know, the other 2 main books, I'll be okay with buying those, so I'm probably gonna go buy them at some point in this video. But yeah, until then, I have this book that I'm gonna be reading, so let's get right into it. Hello again, guys. So I haven't talked to you in a little bit because I was reading Shatter Me, and today I just finished it. So I wanted to tell you guys my thoughts. Unfortunately, I don't have it with me. I can't hold it up because I left it in my boyfriend's car. So yeah, my overall thoughts on book 1. I was actually really surprised with how much I was enjoying it. Like, especially the world was fascinating me so much because, you know, there's a lot of ways you can do dystopian. There's a lot of ways you can like have the apocalyptic feel. But the way that they did it in Shatter Me is like one of my favorite ways. Just like where everything's kind of like in ruin and just kind of in a terrible place, especially when there's some kind of like supernatural like powers or something that's like an element in it. I love that. Yeah, I was having a fun time with it, and I actually really liked the setting of the asylum. I feel like it was a really good like first introduction to the kind of bizarre world that Shatter Me takes place in, and it was also definitely a very good place to introduce like Juliet's like mind, her whole situation with her mind. And it was so unique how the text would have stuff crossed out because like you're supposed to be like kind of reading Juliet's thoughts, and so she'll like cross out some of her thoughts. So that's really interesting. That was yeah, I don't know, I was really impressed with it. I was kind of expecting it to feel a lot more basic because it's so like, it's older, it's probably formed a lot of narratives nowadays, I'm guessing. So I thought it would be a lot more just basic and like, okay, I've like read this before, and some of it was like that, but like it was never like an eye rolling like, of course they're doing this. So I really liked it, and when the plot picked up and all that stuff, I was, oh, like it was so, yeah, I really wish that I didn't know about Warner because that would have been so shocking to me, because if you've read the book then you know how he's introduced. Yeah, I don't know, you just really don't think that he's gonna be a love interest. So I was trying to keep those thoughts spoiler free for some of you who may not have read the books yet, but for the rest of the vlog it's probably gonna have spoilers because you can't really like talk about the 2nd and 3rd and 4th books and series without mentioning spoilers. So if you haven't read these books yet, don't keep watching if you want to read them eventually, because I'm going to be talking about spoilers probably for the rest of the time. So starting now, I'm going to be talking about spoilers. I'm going to talk about book 1 and my overall thoughts on it. Let me see. The opening like few chapters. I know that technically nothing was happening, but I was actually really enjoying it. Like I was saying, like the asylum setting was so intriguing to me, and all that stuff with Adam. I don't even know. I don't even remember like what specifically happened in those chapters, but I just know I was like really, I was eating it all up. I don't even know why. I don't know what that says about me, but it was just so interesting to be in Juliet's mind. I feel like she's one of the most interesting perspectives to read from that I've had in a while. Like it does not feel regular in like a very good way. I was like, this is something different. This is definitely something different. She's so like unhinged and like uncertain in her thoughts, and it's so interesting to read about. So yeah, I was definitely enjoying that. I was there for all of it, and seeing her how she's struggling with the fact that she can't be touched and how she doesn't want Adam to touch her, but she also does, and so she's like very uncertain, keeps going back and forth. So that was kind of fun. I don't know what the right like adjectives are for that, but like I don't know, it was just enjoyable, very entertaining. And then of course when she's taken out of the asylum, and then when she is in Warner's house, that was definitely dramatic. I honestly thought that Adam was like part of the rebellion. Like I thought that Warner, when I heard about his character, I thought that he was gonna be like the head of the rebellion or something, because like I kind of got the vibe that he was like large and in charge kind of person, and he is, but for like the bad guys. And so I'm like, this is definitely reminding me a lot of Rhysand from ACOTAR, just how like I'm just waiting for the moment where he will explain all of the evil things that he's done, or like how he's gonna just change crazily, and it'd be total turnaround for his character, because right now he's like head of the baddies, and like in ACOTAR Rhysand was. I go back and forth from calling him Rhysand and Rhysand, because like when I would read it, I would move back and forth when I would read his name in my brain. So because I know it's technically Rhysand, but I kind of like how Rhysand sounds better, so I just keep going back and forth. But yeah, so that was very like a lot of crazy things happen, and this is very psychological, and I find psychological stuff very intriguing because it feels more layered, I guess, than totally external conflicts. And so I definitely want my fair share of psychological conflicts and internal conflicts, and it's not all just external, and I feel like this book balanced that really well, so I definitely enjoyed that. I feel like you know, with the ending where she goes to Omega Point, I don't really know how I'm feeling about that. I mean, I could kind of tell that it was like leading up to that. I was like, it can't just be her and Adam throughout all of this. She has to be meeting up with someone bigger, and they kept on making references to like, I guess like, I don't know if they call themselves the rebellion, but like people who are part of, you know, the resistance, or someone who's fighting back against the reestablishment. So I was kind of like, okay, I think this is where it's going. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that part made it feel a little more basic. So I don't know how the later books are going to deal with that. I don't know if it's gonna be like a Hunger Games situation where she doesn't like the rebellion or the government. So yeah, I don't know what it's gonna be like. I'm definitely intrigued though. This is a very good first book. I feel like there's a lot of series out there where the first book is just like, why is the series so popular? I feel like ACOTAR was like that for me. But obviously, if you've read the series, you know that in the second book, everything changes. And so I'm kind of wondering where this is gonna go, if it's gonna be completely different. But like, for a book, like for a first book in a series, this one was really good. I'm very pleasantly surprised. I'll say that. So I have had Unite Me, which is the combination of the first two novellas, on hold at the library. And I didn't know this, but when I put it on hold, it said one was available. And so I went there to pick it up, and they were like, oh, looks like it's shipping from another branch, and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't know that. And so then I went back the next day, and they're like, oh, it's supposed to come today in like 30 minutes. Do you want to wait around? And so I waited around, but then my mom needed the car. So I've been to the library twice trying to pick it up, and I haven't been able to, so I'm finally gonna go tomorrow morning probably to pick it up and probably read whatever the next novella is. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know which one it is, but I'm gonna read that tomorrow, hopefully. Tomorrow is gonna be real busy for me, and just my personal schedule. I'm gonna be doing a lot of things, and so, but for some of the things I might be able to read, because I have a few like odd jobs and like have to wait places and like drive people places, and so that might leave some room for reading. I don't know. I would love to finish that novella in one day. That would be great. I don't think it's that long. I think it's only like 100 pages or something. So that's definitely doable if I have the time. So thoughts so far, very positive overall. There are some basic points, but it's definitely not enough to make me have a distaste for it or something. I'm definitely drawn in. I'm definitely hooked. So I'm excited to hop into the novella tomorrow. Hey guys, good morning. I just got back from the library, got Unite Me, which has Destroy Me and Fracture Me in it. So I'm gonna read Destroy Me today, hopefully finish it in the time that I have, because I'm pretty booked today, so I'm just gonna go right into it. No freaking way this novella is from Warner's perspective. They did not! I'm so excited. Hey guys, welcome to a very gloomy and rainy day. So yesterday I managed to read all of Destroy Me in one day, which was a miracle because I was so busy yesterday, but I managed it, and it was very interesting. I can definitely see where this is the beginning of the humanization of Warner and how everyone's gonna start to feel bad for him, feel sympathy, and that'll make everyone hate him less, and that'll kind of like set him up as a main character. I still really don't know how that's gonna happen, so it's almost, I don't know if it would have been better to go in blind and not know anything, or like knowing where it's gonna go and like being super intrigued on how we get there. So, cause I know where it's gonna go, but I have no idea how we get to that point. So I am very excited to see where that's gonna go. I've been reading Unravel Me on my phone. Let me see, I think I'm on chapter 5. I'm almost on chapter 5. I'm on chapter 4. So I have the physical book right here, but I have not been reading from it. And this bookmark is just in a random place. Yeah, so I've started Unravel Me, and fun news, we're coming up on my birthday weekend. My birthday's on Sunday, and today's Friday, and we're gonna kind of be celebrating all weekend, kind of like doing one thing a day. So I'm not sure how busy that's gonna make me. I hopefully will still have time to finish Unravel Me over the weekend. That would be ideal, and then start on, what's the other one? Ignite Me, or I do have to read the novella. So I don't really know what the timing is gonna be with that, because the novella is very short. It's not even 100 pages. So I could definitely knock that out in one day. So maybe as soon as I finish Unravel Me, go into, what's the other one? Fracture Me. It's the novella. Maybe I can do both of those over the weekend, and then when the week starts, I can read Ignite Me. That is my tentative plans, the timing that I'm hoping will work out. So with where we're at in Unravel Me right now, it's kind of what I was wondering was gonna happen, because I feel like anytime there's like a resistance or some kind of organization looking to overthrow the big oppressive government, I feel like it's not always like super good. Like, I was just thinking of Hunger Games, like the resistance or whatever they were called. I'm not sure what they were called. District 13, like it was like, oh, there's so much hope now because there's someone that's fighting against the Capitol, but then like they turn out to be also like almost another villain. So I'm like wondering if that's gonna happen. I don't know about another villain, but Juliet so far seems unhappy there. She seems like she doesn't love it. So I'm kind of wondering if she's going to even like stay there, or if we're like even going to continue seeing Omega Point as like a positive place. I'm not sure. So I'm wondering where that's gonna go, and I'm wondering how Warner is going to play into this, because he can't find them. So I'm wondering if he does find them, or yeah. I'm not gonna keep on guessing on what the plot is gonna be. I'm just gonna keep on reading for as much time as I have this weekend. So I'll bring you guys along with me, keep giving you guys updates on where I'm at in Unravel Me, and yeah, we're just gonna keep chugging along. There's so much drama happening right now. So Juliet and Adam, they're finding out what Adam's power really is, and so Juliet doesn't want to be with him because it means that in order to touch and be together and be intimate and stuff, he would have to constantly be using his power. So there's like a lot of drama going on. And right after she found that out, she went up to the surface and saw Warner, and he was like being nice to a puppy, and I was like, I can see what's happening here. And then her and Adam basically just broke up. So, that was sad. I was like, oof. I feel like it's always the saddest situation when a couple breaks up, not because they don't love each other, not because like any of the stuff. It's just like it just doesn't work for some reason, and it hurts so bad because like the love is still there and they still really want to be together, but like they have to break up for whatever reason. I feel like that's always the saddest. So I'm just like, oof. Ooh, this isn't good. So lots of drama happening currently. What? How does that even work? I didn't even put together that like both Warner and Adam had like abusive dads. Oh my gosh. Does that mean that Adam and Warner are brothers? I need a minute. Oh my gosh, I need a minute. They're probably like half brothers. They probably have different moms, right? What? That I was definitely not seeing. I did not see that coming. Oh my gosh. There's no way. It's This, oh my gosh. This feels like the kind of twist that comes at the end of a book because it's like so crazy. Oh my gosh, I need a minute. That is so crazy. So some of the people on their base got kidnapped for ransom, or yeah, I guess they're taken as hostages, not ransom. So Juliet had to go and like negotiate with the Supreme Commander, I think is what he's called, but he's Warner's dad, who's like the leader of the entire reestablishment. And so she was like talking to him, and he was like the worst, and he was like basically mentally torturing Warner and stuff like that, and Juliet like almost killed him. And then like people came in and were like, stop Juliet, stop, you can't kill him, whatever, not yet, for whatever reason, I don't even know why. But and then Adam is like, that's my dad. What the heck? That is so crazy. Anyway, I've been trying to get some reading done today. Today's my birthday, so that's cool. I'm 20 now. But yes, I've just been trying to get some reading done at different weird points, but that is so crazy. I am reeling. That is definitely not something I thought would happen. Like maybe I could have put it together, but I didn't even think to like try and figure out who Adam's dad was. So that's like, that just makes it even crazier. Oh boy, I need to recover. Morning, guys. Had an early morning this morning, went to the gym. It was leg day and I completely maxed out on every single muscle in my legs, so I can barely walk, so all I want to do today is sit and read. Emphasis on the sitting. Just have a random bag in the background, don't mind that. But yeah, I am over halfway through Unravel Me, so that's exciting. So I'll probably be able to finish that today, and maybe also Fracture Me, the novella. So yeah, we're gonna go for that. Oh, I wanted to show you guys one of the presents I got. So one of my friends made me a scrapbook, if you can believe that, and she filled it with stuff that are things that I love doing, like some of my hobbies, some of my favorite stuff. Like there's a whole Lord of the Rings spread, there's a Over the Garden Wall spread, Hamilton spread, and there's one she heard that I loved Six of Crows, and she made a whole Six of Crows spread. I need to show you. So this is crazy, but there's like all the awesome quotes. No mourners, no funerals. The whole thing about Wyland's ghost teaching Jasper's ghost how to play the flute and stuff. And Inej and Kaz, and the whole quote about him bottling her laugh. Look how beautiful! So I just thought you guys would appreciate that. But yeah, I am going to keep on reading, and I'll check in with you guys at some point. So with where we're at right now, Warner and Juliet are kind of bonding over their past and stuff like that, because Warner has read her journal, her private journal, where she just like basically just vents all of her trauma and all of the stuff that's going through her head. And it's so interesting. I actually, Juliet's personality isn't that like complex, but I think she's so interesting to read from just because of her unhingedness. I really enjoy it. I don't know, like I wouldn't want that in real life obviously, but like it's so, in a book, it is so interesting to dive into her crazy mind and just the way that she like loses control sometimes and stuff like that. It's really, I don't know, I enjoy it. It's different, and I think it's so interesting that her and Warner are kind of bonding over that, like the fact that they're both a little bit not all there. I don't know, it's very interesting, so I'm here for it. We're at the point where she's kind of like interviewing him or interrogating him a bunch, so they're having a lot of conversations, and a lot of the time they're finding like how similar they both are and how they both had screwed up backgrounds, and how yeah, everyone like hates them and thinks they're monsters. So I can see the foundations being laid. Okay, a couple more things. So they just had a kind of critical conversation, I feel like, because Juliet is like kind of admitting that she's attracted to Warner and stuff. She's kind of, I don't know that she's like admitted it to herself yet. She's more just like, oh my gosh, like why am I feeling this way, whatever. Warner is kind of like explaining his reasons, I guess, thought process behind treating her the way that he did when she was like his captive or whatever. Like, I would not condone this in normal life, obviously, I'm not a psychopath, but like for this particular romance, I don't know, I just feel like it works. I don't want to like give him an excuse or like, oh, so then it's fine that he treated her poorly, whatever. Like, it's not fine. It's just like, I feel like they just understand each other. Like, just the way that it was set up, how he was saying like, I was just trying to make you able to conquer the world or whatever, because that's how I was trained to do it, was to just like be like, my dad was super hard on me, whatever. Like that's how I got trained, and so I wanted to train you that way. I don't know, I just feel like the way that he described that makes sense, and I feel like the lead up made that believable. Like how he was totally vilified in the first book, and then came the Destroy Me, the thing from his perspective, the novella. Like it had him like reading Juliet's journal and like relating to her and stuff, and so since we like Juliet and he's relating to her, then it kind of like makes us like him more, and then we see how his father sucks a lot and how we're like, oh, so that makes us feel bad for him, and the fact that he's still kind of resisting his father. He's not like fully turned into him. And we also see that in Unravel Me, that scene where Juliet finds Warner and his dad, and like Warner turns the gun on his dad and stuff like that. So it's like I feel like the lead up made this believable, so now like Warner feels like friendly, like a friendly presence, or like not totally vilified anymore, you know? So yeah, I don't know, I just like it. And I wanted to say something about the author's writing and how it lends itself well to a kind of like mentally unstable person like Juliet, because it's so poetic, and Juliet's mind is so poetic, and the way that she writes in her journal is so poetic, and it just works. Like I feel like sometimes super poetic writing is kind of cheesy because it doesn't like fit for whatever reason. It doesn't fit, like it's so pretentious or something like that, like especially if it's not like fantasy. Like this isn't fantasy, it's like dystopian, futuristic, whatever. And so sometimes if there's like a book like that and it's super poetic, then it's just like, why? For what? But it like makes sense because of Juliet's mind in this, and so I really like that. The author has like some really sick lines and she's able to use them because it makes sense within the narrative. So I enjoy that, I appreciate that. So that's just a few thoughts that I had. So I feel like the love triangle is in full effect. Juliet and Warner just had a steamy interaction, and it's leaving Juliet real confused, and it's leaving Warner mad that she like broke it off, like they didn't keep going, if you know what I mean. He's like, well, you're choosing him over me, and she's like, no, I'm not choosing anyone, and he's like, yes you are. And it's very love triangle-y right now, and Warner just stormed off in a huff, and he's gonna leave the next day. He wanted Juliet to come with him, but I don't know if she will, so I kind of want her to, honestly. I feel like that'd be really interesting. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, I forgot to mention, Kenji almost died, and that got me concerned. I knew that he wasn't going to die, I don't know, I could tell, but it didn't seem like it would make sense in the narrative for him to die. But, in doing that, we find out Warner's ability, and so that is very exciting. And so we know that, I mean, I feel like this is another, like, foreshadowing for why he's gonna end up with Juliet. I think, at least, I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen, because his power doesn't require any energy to touch her, because Adam, if he touches her and then, like, loses control of his power or can't like keep it going, then he'll get hurt. But it's not the same thing with Warner, so wow, that's definitely a way to end that. Oh wow, I really liked this. I think for me, the setting of Omega Point isn't as interesting to me as the settings in the first book, like the asylum and Warner's house and like all that stuff. But I really like the roller coaster in this. I don't know, I feel like it's very interesting because it really, like the love triangle really started out. We're starting to see the other side of Warner that Juliet's actually like falling in love with and all that. I'm kind of glad I finished this because I don't want to be seen with a book that literally has our lips touch on the back. So I'm glad I don't have to carry that in public anymore. But yeah, I really liked that. I would say like overall, I like Shatter Me more just because of the feelings it gave me, but more happened in this book, so it was very intriguing. So maybe I would say like, I'm trying to think about ratings, but maybe Shatter Me is 4-star and maybe this one's 3.5. But that's not totally final. I'll give final ratings for sure at the end, but that's kind of the rating I'm thinking about right now. So I'm going to spend the rest of the day reading Fracture Me, and I'll tell you guys my thoughts about that once I'm done with it. Okay, so surprisingly I have a lot to say for just a 64 or so page long novella. So first of all, they think Juliet's dead, so that's definitely gonna be an interesting plot point. Adam's voice is very bland to read from, I feel like. So many of the sentences were like short and declarative and very like, this happened. they said this and they reacted this way, da, 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 da. And it was like so like flavorless, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely the least favorite voice I have gotten to hear from. So there's that. So I'm glad that that's not happening. But also with the way that he thinks about Juliet, I'm like, girl, you don't even like her that much. Like, he's annoyed with her, like, a lot of her reactions, or, like, I don't know about annoyed, but just, like, why is she this way? Like, she, like, whatever, she's reacting so strongly, like, stuff like that, and there's no thoughts of, like, maybe there was, like, a couple, but there's no thoughts of, like, adoration, or just the kinds of thoughts I would think would happen if you're, like, extremely in love with a person. I don't know, so he's, like, not even that in love with her, and so I'm like, okay, so I don't even feel that bad about this, but he's still, like, kind of territorial at the same time, which is the worst combination. Like, when she was going into battle and stuff, he was being all protective, and it's like, stop. Which, like, maybe, like, that's warranted because she did get captured, but it was still, like, annoying. I don't know. I don't like that. Especially because she has a super OP power and can handle herself in most situations, unless a cool plot thing is happening and she has to go see Anderson. Yeah, there's that. And, yeah, Omega Point got bombed, which is definitely gonna be fun to deal with. Honestly, I kind of wish that James had died. I know, obviously, if this was a real thing that happened, I would not be feeling this way, but for a book, for a plot, that's supposed to be super interesting and have these conflicts and sorrows and losses and stuff like that, I'm like, I feel like that would have been an interesting thing to happen. Like, I feel like it would have done something cool to Adam's character, but I feel like it was kind of a chicken cop-out, whatever, however you say that, because it's like, it's saying that thinking that he lost James changed him. Like, there's a couple paragraphs that describe that, of how, like, oh, the reestablishment is, like, using this kind of trauma, or, like, this kind of, like, you know, separating spouses, separating children from their parents, stuff like that, to, like, traumatize them in that way, and, like, mentally affect them in that way, and now he understands. But, like, that still feels like a cop-out. Like, no, but you still have your brother. You still have him. Like, you would definitely feel that way if you'd lost him. So I feel like that would have been a cool thing for his character, at least for him to not be so bland, and so, like, there's nothing there, you know, like, I kind of think that that would have been a little bit cool to happen. And it's sweet that he cares about him so much, and I just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the point was of keeping James around, like, what the point was of him surviving, if his death could have advanced Adam's character in that way. So those are just my thoughts right now. I have a little bit of time left today, so I'll probably hop into Ignite Me, which is such a pretty cover. I really like this one. It's like flowers and stuff like that, so I'm probably gonna read as much as I can in the couple hours I have left of today, and we'll see how far I get. I'm cringing so hard right now at what I just read. So I'm like almost 40% through the book according to Goodreads, and a cringe thing just happened. She was with Warner for a good portion, and then he took her to see the ruins of Omega Point, and she got sad, and then Kenji found them there, and then Kenji took Juliet to where the rest of them are hiding out at Adam's house. Oh, you can see my stacks of books in the background because there's no more room on my shelf. So there was a lot of drama with that, and how Juliet was basically just trying to get everyone to be like, so we should team up with Warner. I think that's what she was saying. I don't know. She had a lot to say. She had to explain, first of all, how she was alive because they all thought that she was dead, and then Warner just shows up, and then they all want to kill him, and she's like, no, don't kill him, we need to work with him and stuff. And then she and Adam get into this massive fight about their relationship in front of everyone, just like hanging out their dirty laundry for everyone to see, and I was just like, this is so cringe. Oh my gosh. Like, Adam is totally, like, he's really changed. Like, at first I was like, oh, it's gonna be kind of sad for her to be with Warner because Adam seems like a nice guy, and now I'm just like, get him out of here. He's so horrible. Like, the fact that he would even do that, first of all, but also, like, with how he was being so, like, basically doing things and saying things that made it seem like he thought he owned Juliet. Like, no, she's not going with you, Warner. Like, she's not doing this. She's not, like, everyone else was like, okay, yeah, we can do this. I want to take down the reestablishment. And Adam's like, no, like, we can't team up with him. He did this thing in the past and stuff, and like, he's a psychopath, whatever. And Juliet's like, okay, fine, well, we're going with him. I'm going with him. And he's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And he keeps calling him her boyfriend when they broke up. So I'm just like, Dude, stop. You are not helping your case. Oh, he really changed and I really don't like it. Oh my goodness, this just keeps getting worse. Adam's saying I was happier when I thought she was dead. Thinking you were dead was so much better. It hurts so much less than this. And he's just like saying such mean, cruel things. He's such a jerk. Oh my gosh, I hate him. He's the worst. Just because Juliet, like, he even denied that they, like, broke up. Kenji's like, dude, you guys broke up. You can't lay a claim on her or anything. And he's like, that wasn't a real breakup. And he's like, we all heard you break up down in the tunnels. Like, stop. And he's like, that didn't count. He's so awful. Oh my gosh. And he's like telling her to get out of the house even though she has nowhere to go, like nowhere safe to be. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for for her to never have to see him again. I don't know, maybe they will have to see each other again. Maybe they'll have to still be allies, but like, oh my gosh, he's the worst. I'm dying. It's like a soap opera, but with worse acting. That's a good line. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Where we're at right now, it's kind of like a training montage almost, where all the team is like at Warner's place and they're like training at his place and everyone's training and Juliet is training. But I feel like I have one like problem with this because I don't even understand Juliet's powers anymore. It's like she's like basically can do anything. I don't even know. It's like, okay, I can buy that her skin is deadly because her strength is deadly. Almost. I'm like, that sounds weird. That just doesn't make sense. But the fact that she can like move things with her mind as well, like she can use her strength to like move things. I'm like, that's basically like a bunch of powers wrapped into one. Like Castle is super powerful because he has telekinesis and can move stuff, but then like she can do it too, so why? Like, I don't even get it. I just don't, yeah, it just seems like a bunch of different stuff that's unrelated that's like wrapped up in one power, and I don't even get it. Like, they've explained it so many times and I'm like, I don't buy it. I don't know, that's weird. So, but it is cool that she's becoming more confident, and there's like hardly any cross outs. Like, there's no text that's crossed out. There hasn't been in a while, so that's pretty cool. Oh my gosh, and she can also like, she's also like invisible and bulletproof. I mean, that makes more sense than the be able to move things with your mind thing, but like, how many things can she do? Oh, she said it. She said it. Hey guys. Oh, can you see your shadow? Hi. So today I just finished Ignite Me, which might be my favorite cover. This is definitely the cover that I've stared at most. Oh my goodness, my cat is walking on my desk and I'm always afraid that he's gonna ruin something. Shadow. So, overall thoughts on the ending I wanted to say before I wrapped up the video. So, the ending, like the ending, like the last couple pages, I liked. I feel like it was kind of a good wrap up because I know that this was originally like the end of the series and then she added on the other ones. So that's why I'm making this video in 2 parts. So I feel like it was a good wrap up, but I have kind of a lot of qualms with the ending. First of all, felt super low stakes because no one died. And I feel like that's becoming a pet peeve of mine when there are no character deaths, because I feel like done well, character deaths are some of the best way to like get the readers invested in the characters. It makes them instantly like the dead character more, and it just feels more real. It makes it feel more high stakes and all that stuff. I feel like the Percy Jackson series did this really well. Despite being a middle grade series, there was a lot of character deaths, and every time it was like it hit so hard. Even if they were like background characters or like not super important characters, then it still made you care about them more, like appreciate them more. So I just feel like at least maybe some of the side characters could have died at least, but everyone stayed alive, and like including James, who should have totally been in that explosion. So, oh, Shadow, don't touch that. That's hot. Shadow, no. He's sniffing the light, and that light gets 1,000 degrees Kelvin. Like, every time I touch it, it burns me, so don't touch it, baby. Yeah, that's a cutie boy. Look at you. The lighting makes him look so menacing. Anyway, so those are my qualms with the ending of the book. But overall, it felt really good. I would say, let's talk about ratings real quick. I would say Shatter Me is probably 4.5 stars. It was like I feel like it was such a good beginning to this series. All the settings were so cool. The asylum, Warner's mansion, and then at the end, Omega Point, and then like along the way, like running away from the reestablishment. I really enjoyed that. and like I don't know what it was, just the vibes of it felt different. It just felt really good. So I'm probably giving that one the highest rating out of the 4.5 stars. And then I would say Unravel Me was probably around 3 or 3.5, because I don't know, like I was kind of mentioning this in the section of me reading it, like the setting did not feel super interesting, didn't feel high stakes at all. There was a final battle, but that didn't, like, I don't know why, it just didn't make me feel very much. There was that twist at the end. I think that was the end of that book, where Adam was actually the son of the Supreme Commander, whatever his name is. He's trying to get into a box. I really need to clean my room. It has like boxes in it and he's getting in one. So that was a good twist. I did like that. So I think maybe that one would be 3.5, because it's hard for me to say if I liked or disliked it or not. So usually that's like 3.5. Like I mean I didn't dislike it. That's for sure. I did not dislike it. So anyway, I'm always whenever a book is in the 3 or 3.5 range, it's so hard to decide. But yeah, this one is probably 4-star though. Ignite Me, because I really liked most of it. Like it's still I feel like a lot of the like wow factor was kind of taken out because of the novellas, because the novellas have like Warner revealing that that was actually simulation when Juliet came and like was saving that toddler. Like that was actually simulation, that wasn't real, and like that was kind of felt like a big reveal in this book, but it wasn't, because I read the novella. And same with like thinking that everyone was dead, but really they weren't, because I read that in Adam's novella. So there was like a few things that could have been emotional for me but weren't, because I already knew them because of reading the novellas. So I don't know, that's why I just don't like novellas. I just don't like novellas. Like if it's really important, just put like an epilogue or a couple chapters at the end from another person's perspective. But if you're gonna make something a huge reveal, don't reveal it in a novella, you know? Like, but I did love that Warner and Juliet's romance kind of took off in this. That was super great to read about, and it felt believable. Like I was really wondering how they were going to make that romance believable, and I feel like they did. I think there were a few times when like Juliet would be like saying in her monologue like, oh my gosh, he's not what I thought he was, he's this, and then Warner would tell her, actually I'm exactly who you think I am. I'm a murderer, I'm a horrible person, whatever. And she's like, I know you're not. No, you're not. Like in my mind you're not, whatever. Like I know that's not the real you, it's just because your dad was horrible. But then like she'll turn around and say, I like you exactly how you are. So I was kind of like, I don't know what's going on there, but I feel like they kind of changed all of that, made it a little bit better, because Warner always wanted her to be who she was meant to be. Like always wanted her to like dominate, be powerful, all that stuff. And Adam was always wanting her to like, he wanted someone to protect, I guess. He was like very manly and like wanted to protect someone, which I get, but Juliet wasn't the person that would fulfill that for him. So it makes sense that they didn't work out in the end, because he fell in love with her when she was super shy and super like unsure of herself, and then Warner knew that she wasn't actually like that and wanted her to become the best version of herself basically. And I feel like that's a really good pairing. I feel like that part of it is definitely more believable. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so those are my overall thoughts on the series. I really like the setting of a dystopian. I love this kind of dystopian, like I was saying earlier, where it just feels like everything is falling apart. I don't know why, I love that. It's just very interesting to read about. It's cool that people have powers. It feels a little bit weird how OP Juliet is, but because I really like limitations and powers, I feel like limitations and powers are almost like better than the actual power itself. So kind of iffy about that, but overall I really like reading from her perspective. Like I feel like she's very interesting to read from. She's not boring at all. So that's really awesome. Yeah, so overall very positive feelings about the first half of this series. I'm probably gonna come out with another reading vlog kind of semi soon where I read the second half, so stay tuned for that, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to get notified whenever I do post that, or whenever I post anything else that I do in the near future. I have some cool stuff planned, so make sure you don't miss out. Make sure to subscribe, and make sure to like, and make sure to comment on your thoughts on the series. Yeah, maybe say which one's your favorite, what you think of the romance, what you think of the characters, all that good stuff. So I want to know it all. I'm very curious about everyone's opinion on this, because I know that it's very popular, but I also know that it's made fun of a lot. So I want to know like what makes it so easy to make fun of, whatever. So like what are your thoughts? But with that, I think that's all from me. Bye y'all.